So let's start today's video. So we were on the third paragraph of this page. Okay, we had completed this paragraph, but let's read it out once again. Scientists and engineers tend to express their ideas in the form of equations because they need to know the precise value of quantities. But for the rest of us, a qualitative grasp of scientific concept is sufficient, and this can be conveyed by words and diagrams without the use of equations. So here he says that scientists and engineers have this habit, have this tendency to express their ideas in the forms of equation because they need to know the exact values of the quantities. But for the rest of world like us, just scientific concept, to understand scientific concept is enough, and we can understand everything more conveniently by words and diagrams. Usually equations make people more frightening. The science people learn in the school can provide the basic framework. Okay, so the science that people learn in a school can provide the basic that is the basic framework of their knowledge, but it should be not by the rote method. They should not memorize everything. But the rate of scientific progress is now so rapid that there are always new developments that have occurred since one was at school or university. Time has changed a lot, and now scientific progress is so fast that every single day there is some new kind of development, and every day we can see the change in the world. I never learned about molecular biology or transistors at school, but genetic engineering and computers are two of the developments most likely to change the way we live. So he says that when he was in school, he never learned about molecular biology and transistors. So basically he wants to convey this message to everyone here that whatever we read in school, whatever we learn in school, it should be like basic framework. It should not be only limited to the examination and getting marks. Okay, it should be about knowledge. Developments most likely to change the way we live in the future. Popular books and magazine articles about science can help to put across the new developments, but the even most successful popular book is read by only a small proportion of the population. So he says there, he says here that giving knowledge by magazines and books and articles about science can be very helpful for the new developments. By this we can give knowledge to more and more people. But also it's not it's very true that most famous books, even the most popular books, is read by only a very small number of people, because everybody is not so much habitual of reading the books, and even the people read the book, they do not read about science. They generally, people read about entertainment, something that entertains them. Only television can reach a truly mass audience. There are some very good science programs on televisions, but other present scientific wonders simply as magic without explaining them or showing how they fit into the framework of the scientific idea. Okay, so he says here that television can be a very good idea to give knowledge about science. Television truly reach a good number of audience, but then there are so many good science programs on televisions. But when you see, on the other hand, some scientific programs are simply, they present it like a magic, like a miracle, without explaining anything. They just entertain people, they just gain TRP, they just gain TRP, and they just entertain the audience, which is not the right thing to do, I guess. Producers of the television science program should realize that they have a responsibility to educate the people, not just entertain it, isn't it? The producers who are producing these shows, they have a big responsibility. They need to understand that they need to educate people by the help of their programs. They are not there just to entertain the common people. What are the science related issue that the public will have to make decisions on in near future? So what are the science related problems that we people need to have understand in future? By far the most urgent is that of nuclear weapon, and I'm very sure that you know if I it will not be wrong if I say 90% of people have no idea or no knowledge about nuclear weapon. So by far, according to Stephen Hawking, nuclear weapon is a topic about which everybody must know. Other global problems such as food supply or the greenhouse effect are relatively slow acting, but a nuclear war could mean the end of all human life on earth within days. So according to him, he is saying here that other problems like food supply, how the food supplies, or greenhouse, what is the greenhouse effect, and we have also heard about global warming. Okay, all these are the important things, but they are slow acting thing. What is the most important thing? That is, we should know about nuclear weapon. Because a nuclear war can end the human life within few days. Whole world, globe. The relaxation of east-west tension brought about by the ending of this Cold War has meant that the fear of nuclear war has receded from the public mind. So here east-west tension is we are talking about the the hostility, the agreement that Russia and America did. Okay, there was the hostility made between these two countries after World War. The relaxation of east-west tension means whatever happened between Russia and America, it somehow was the ending of Cold War, and because of this topic, nuclear war topic, okay, and nuclear weapon topic has somehow gradually gone from the public's mind, but it's not a right thing. But the danger is still there as long as there are enough weapons to kill the entire population of the world many times over. Okay, just because that there is no east-west tension, just because there is no war between Russia and America, that doesn't mean that people should forget about nuclear war and nuclear weapon. The danger is still there because they still have a lot of weapons. They still have the enough weapon to kill the entire population of the world. Means there are still nuclear weapon which can end the human life. In former Soviet state, here former Soviet state means Russia, okay, and in America, nuclear weapon is still poised to strike all the major cities in the northern hemisphere. Means America and Russia, these countries still have so much nuclear weapon. They still have the enough nuclear weapon that they are anyway ready, they are any day ready to strike all the major cities on the northern hemisphere. They actually have so much weapon that they can end the whole human life, but here it is only rich in northern hemisphere. Fair enough. It would only take a computer error or the mutiny. Mutiny means when some worker refuse to work according to you, some worker disobeys, okay, and they take the whole charge in their hand by some of those meaning the weapon to trigger a global war. And only this nuclear war can be avoided if some worker refuse to obey the instruction of the senior and they operate the weapon according to themselves. It is even more worrying that even minor powers are now acquiring nuclear weapon. wait a minute. Yes, here we are. Okay, let me read the last paragraph again for you. It is even more worrying that even minor powers are now acquiring nuclear weapon. So now the tension has increased because even the minor countries have some big powers, which is very unsafe for the humans. The major power have behaved in the reasonably possible way so far, but one cannot have such confidence in the minor powers like Libya or Iraq, Pakistan, or even Azerbaijan. Okay, so what he's saying here, Stephen Hawking, that we can trust America, Russia, okay, because they are responsible, because they have this power from a very long time, and they had never used, even in the World War, they had not used these nuclear power and nuclear weapon and these kind of weapons. But we cannot have this confidence in the minor countries like Iran, Pakistan. They are not that much responsible and sensible. If they would get such powers, they would definitely use, and it will be very dangerous for everyone. The danger is not so much in the actually nuclear weapons that such powers may soon possess, but would be fairly rudimentary, through they could still kill millions of people. Okay, even if they even if these countries won't have the big powers like nuclear weapon, even if they have small minor powers, then also it will be quite risky for normal people, because we cannot trust these countries or on their sensibility. Rather, the danger is that a nuclear war between two minor powers could draw in the major powers with their enormous arsenal. Okay, now what he's saying, that if the small country, if the minor powers will have their war, okay, suppose that Pakistan used its power, then the other country will also use its power. So it will be very horrible situation, because if minor powers will use their power, then also major countries will use their power. It is very important that the public realize the danger and put the pressure on all government to agree to large arms cut. So it is very important for the public to have knowledge about nuclear power, okay, to have knowledge about nuclear danger and realize, and it's the duty of normal people, it's the duty of public that they pressure government to cut the supplies of these arms. Okay, ये जितने भी बड़े बड़े हथियार हैं, इनकी जो सप्लाई है, इस पर क्या करना पड़ेगा, रोक लगाना पड़ेगा. It probably is not particular to remove nuclear weapon entirely, but we can lessen the danger by reducing the numbers of weapon. So it's not possible to remove nuclear weapon entirely. We cannot, it's actually on the ground base, it's not possible to remove nuclear weapons completely, but at least we can lessen the danger by reducing the number of weapon. If we manage to avoid a nuclear war, there are still other dangers that could destroy us all. Okay, even if we avoid nuclear war, still there are other dangers that can destroy everyone. There is a sick joke that the reason we have not been contracted by an alien civilization is that civilizations tend to destroy themselves when they reach our state. Okay, so he's talking here about a silly joke that people have made, that why we have not been in contact with the alien, because what happened? Yes, when alien will come to us, they will destroy themselves. Okay, but I have enough faith and good sense of the public to believe that we might prove this wrong. But he believes that this joke, people will prove it wrong. Okay, means what does this joke means? This joke means that we people are so dangerous that even alien will come to us, he will destroy himself, rather than contacting with us, aliens would like to die. Okay, but he believes that we people will prove it wrong, that we people are not so bad and not so foolish. So students, we are done with this chapter. Okay, still, if you have any sort of confusion, please go and ask me in the comment section. So we will meet up again. Till then, take care, stay safe.